Hello, I'm Lana McAra, and I help people feel younger. Welcome to Now It's My Turn, coming to you from the greater Philadelphia area. We're here every Friday afternoon on YouTube, and today we're going to talk about emotions in this time, during this chaos that we're in right now in 2020. Our purpose each week is to open the door for the 50-plus woman to live a life she absolutely loves. Today's 50-plus woman is vibrant, alive, filled with passion, purpose. She's a powerful force for good in the world, and we are here to unleash that power and to break through social programming that tells us we're half done. We're not half done. We're just getting started. Where every woman can say, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to follow my purpose, my passion, find out those two important questions that are so vital. Number one, who am I? Who am I now in this phase of my life? Now that the child rearing, career, all these different things are either done or almost done, where we're looking at maybe retirement or not retiring or non-retirement or whatever you want to call it. What does this next place in my life look like? Because now I have some choices. All the time constraints are going away and I get to pick, choose. So who am I in my heart? Because I find that a lot of times women just push themselves to the side in favor of what everybody else wants and needs. And when I ask people, what do you want? They don't really know. And that's the second question. What do I want? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want to have this next 30, 40, 50 years of my life to be? Because people are living longer than ever, highly functioning, 100% full out, and we have a lot of time ahead to answer those questions and to set that trajectory for our life to be that beautiful life we absolutely love. So get your pen and paper and message your friends, let them know we're here, and let's go ahead and get started with our heart space connection. I love this part of the broadcast every time. It helps me, and I know it helps you too. So let's just feel your heart. Just start off with feeling your heart and let it fill with love. Just let your heart fill up with love. It feels so warm and just so full. And then just let this love in your heart just expand through your whole chest. Just let it come out of your heart and fill you up. And now let it fill up from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Just let the love just swell and swell. It's such a beautiful place to be, in this loving, healing energy. And now let the love in your heart just fill the room. Ceiling to floor, wall to wall. Just let it fill the whole room where you are. Yeah. And now let it fill the whole building, roof to basement. Just imagine the love in your heart just bursting through the walls. And now just let it keep going out into the region, out into the area where you are. And just imagine this heart love energy just going over all the education facilities and the medical facilities and the retail shops and the housing developments, and just wafting out. And you know, the Heart Math Institute tells us that this is real. Our heart energy actually does go out. They can measure it. And now just let your heart energy just swell out until you fill up the entire continent. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. And as we do this, the healing energy flows out. You know, immune systems are boosted by this loving energy. We need that right now around the whole planet. And so now, just let your heart energy go all the way around the globe and all the way back. And as we spread around the world, we cross. Your energy crosses mine, and another one, and another one. And as we cross each other's energy, it just forms this beautiful grid of love. And we connect to each other. And so the healing for one becomes a healing for all. And we're better together than we are alone. That's right. You can just feel it. Thank you so much. When you join us, your energy joins to ours in a very real and literal sense. And it helps everyone just because you're here. Okay, let's get our guest in here. I am excited to have our guest. Let's get her in here. Helen.
Hey,
there you are.
thank
I'm
you
always
for that.
happy when the
Yeah,
technology works.
yay, little miracles.
I know. Helen, dear friend of mine for many years now. We've known each other for a long time. I can't even remember when we first met. It must have been back in the like 2014 or
I
something.
think when we were in preschool.
As a John Maxwell certified leadership coach and social emotional learning specialist, Helen has been on a mission to raise awareness as to the importance of emotional health in children and adults during these chaotic and uncertain times. In order to best help children, Helen is providing training and coaching for parents and teachers, those who spend the most time and have the most influence on children. For adults, Helen currently facilitates several mastermind groups to study Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Welcome, Helen.
Thank you, Lana.
So what got you started in this journey of working with children and adults?
You know, I really believe, and I've worked with women most of my adult life, and I really believe that we all are born with a purpose. And how do you discover that? So I have tracked my path that I've been on, and it has led me to this point. I was a teacher, I was an education and psychology major, so I've always really loved understanding human development, human behavior. So what makes me happy and what makes me sad is what I use to discover what it is I'm supposed to be doing with my hours in the day. And it makes me so sad to see what problems are happening in people's families, the amount of suicide, the amount of depression of children, of teenagers, and bullying. So where do I begin is my question. Where do I begin when I see this happening? Because I was a happy child, and I say, I can't do it all. So what is the best place for me to begin? So I thought I'm gonna do a little prevention versus intervention and start with the youngest. Wow. And so how do I work with the youngest? It's to help the parents and the teachers. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years.
Wow, that's really, really important because, and working with adults myself, most everything that we work on is started around 3 to 5 years old, sometimes earlier, but most everything starts at that age. So it's really, really important. One of the things that I found, and looking at the lockdowns and, all this difference as stressors that happen, in this time, it seems to bring all of the bad stuff to the top. It's like the stuff that was simmering underneath. Now we're seeing, the relationship struggles and all this stuff that you can't distract yourself as much anymore or separate from each other, and get in other places anymore. So how would you say that this pandemic has created unhealthy stress in individuals and families?
Yeah, it seems obvious, doesn't it? Because you just stated a whole lot of those things that are different now. I think a lot of the stress and the tendency to almost be ready to explode comes from not facing up to what's happening. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it with the people we are closest to. Let's talk about what our fears are. Because honestly, I believe the root is fear. And what is it the fear of? The fear of abandonment, the fear of loss, the fear of no control, and the fear of the unknown. So it's all scary. So acknowledging that and saying, okay, that's what is. Now, what am I going to do about it? So I really believe we have choices. So what perspective are we going to look at the conditions we're under right now? Can we say, how can I come out of this better? Or am I going to let it bring me down?
So what happens when, well, I guess you touched on that, when we don't like to look at those difficult things, do we? A lot of times we just want to pretend they aren't there, ignore them, and hope that somehow, it'll just go away.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, so much it goes back to how we were raised. Do you come from a family where your mother said, we're all going to get along? Not how can we learn how to get along, right? I think a lot was demanded of us to pretend like everything's okay. And when it comes to women, I believe we were allowed to be upset and sad, but we weren't allowed to be angry. Right? Yeah. So I think we all have to learn how to be angry in productive ways. And to be able to say, I don't like what you just said to me, or I don't like how I feel right now. So I think a lot of it comes from how we were raised, what was imprinted in us, in our style of the parenting that we grew up with. And pretending it never goes away. Feelings just are. So telling someone, don't be sad, that doesn't make them not sad. It makes them even more sad because they're feeling disconnected and not understood.
Yes, one of my pet peeves is when even in the movies, I see people say to people, calm down. I just want to shake them for saying that.
Yeah, that makes you even less calm, right?
Exactly. Now you want to hit the person that told you that.
All right, I'll calm down.
Yeah, right. I just have to get it out for 1 second. Bam.
Right. And, when we repress versus express, then it just builds up and builds up. And in children, it comes out in behaviors that are not acceptable. So every behavior is a symptom of unexpressed emotions or unfulfilled skills, undeveloped skills. So in a child, that's what behavior is. No child wants to misbehave. It's really just emotions being expressed in ways that they don't know how to express any other way. In adults, unexpressed emotions come out in the form of disease, dis-ease. All right, it builds up inside us, and it comes out in things like our blood pressure and and relationships, passive aggression. So to learn how to express, it's all about that communication, isn't it, Lana?
Yes, and being in a safe place to feel like it's okay to be me.
Right.
That was one of the hardest lessons I learned, because my whole life I was just like tape over the mouth until I was 52 years old. So after that point, when suddenly I found nobody can tell me to not speak my truth anymore. But then I was judging myself.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right. Not to take responsibility is a big thing. To be responsible for how you feel, not to say someone else made me feel this way. To acknowledge this is how I feel. To use the I language, not the you language. And I think that's the solution, to be able to be understood and to understand.
Yes. So this involves understanding your emotions, understanding the emotions of others, and realizing that emotions are not an enemy. They're just a signpost, just a signal. So what would you say about that, our understanding and that training of emotional intelligence? We hear that all the time. I've never really known what that means.
Emotional intelligence, there's, EQ or IQ. And so much emphasis forever has been placed on IQ. And yet 80% of our success in life is determined by emotional quotient. So think about it. Are you able to communicate? Are you able to get along with people? Are you able to have empathy? Are you able to express how you feel? That's emotional intelligence. And what kind of relationships are you able to form? So when you have a higher EQ, that is a key to success. And how you define success is personal. But, it's been studied that people with higher EQs go through and finish college, have jobs that they're fulfilled by, have relationships, stay in relationships, have children, so are things, whatever it is that you define as success, a person with higher EQ versus IQ leads to success in life. And, I think this is a trend now. It's my passion. And this is what I train with on to teachers, is how to help and parents, how to help elevate a child's EQ.
Right.
The good news
I
is
know.
it's never too late in adults either.
Yes, I've seen this in my grown children, because when they get into corporate settings, and I have two sons who are in pretty elevated positions in corporate, one's an executive, and that is the frustration on the job and this pent up feeling, like, I don't know if I can stand this another day. And that understanding how to deal and understand your own responses.
Right. Yeah. Understand how you're feeling, have the language to be able to express it, and the courage, and also coping skills. How to cope with, through meditation. I mean, that is a coping skill. But at the job level, I've done corporate trainings for people on how to handle stress in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Because so much of the failure within companies is built on the relationships that are not developed among coworkers.
Yes, right.
Well, now we're not so much in the workplace. So, this isolation, that's a whole other subject. And, I right away, I responded to all the immediate fast changes that have happened in our world. And, understanding yourself. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Because extroverts are having an extra hard time coping with not getting energy from other people.
Yes.
Personally, I'm an introvert. I kind of love this. I love being able to be in my desk and do my creativity, but understanding that. And if you have a friend or a relative that's having a hard time, maybe find out, helping people get to the root, the underlying cause of feelings. They aren't always what they appear to be. And it could be just that feeling of isolation and that loneliness.
Yes. I've seen it in my grandchildren. Some of my grandchildren are introverts and they just want to play games on their computer. They're fine. They interact through that medium with other kids. And then there are other grandchildren who just cry because they want to have friends over for playing,
Right.
Yeah.
So if you are a grandparent listening to this, I think it's important to understand, to talk about the changes that children have gone through, because they don't have the cognitive development to be able to understand, why am I not allowed to go to school? Is it something I did? Am I a bad person? Have I caused this? How children take responsibility for things that change because they don't understand. So talking about it daily with your children, your grandchildren, and bringing out those questions. You're never going to put an idea in a child's head unless it already exists.
Oh, wow. Now, I'd like you to say that again. You're never going to put.
Yeah. I've had parents say, well, if I say, does it make you sad that you can't see your grandparents? Unless they're feeling sad about seeing their grandparents, you're not going to put an idea in their head unless it already exists.
Okay.
So, that could be one, or to even just, let's talk about it as a family. I believe in family meetings. Let's talk about all of this changes and bring them out and discuss them.
Yes. During the worst of the lockdown, which was, I think it was back in May, we'd already been locked in, I think maybe June. We'd already been locked in about 3 months. And my grandchildren used to come over once in a while and spending the night. And I was missing them. They were missing me. And so we just made an agreement. We both went in quarantine for 2 weeks. That family, my family, we went in quarantine for 2 weeks. When we were sure that we were clear, they came over and spent the night.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to the store and did my stuff, but I just waited because we needed to be together,
You do. That emotional need, that touch that love that we get from each other is
Yes.
so much value.
Yes, indeed, indeed. It's very important. And seeing them on the Zoom calls is nice. But it's nothing like a hug, from your grandkids.
Yeah, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
both ways.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So how do you build your inner strength in this time?
Personally, as adults, well, I have I have kind of checklists that I go through for myself, and a lot of these I'm sure you already know. You've heard them. I like to keep. I like to keep a chart kind of thing. But did I get enough sleep? So
Hmm.
sleep is one thing. Exercise. There's no excuse to get out and walk, exercise. Um, what are you eating? What kind of foods are you eating? And the best foods are either the foods that grow or have been killed, right? Otherwise, they're processed.
Mm.
Okay. Um, Meditation and prayer. And I really believe in starting the day that way. Now, this is personal, but I've also had testimonials from other people. By starting the day and just, the meditation, allowing the subconscious to emerge,
Hmm.
and allow whatever your beliefs are, but allow that spirit within to then lead you through the day. I personally ask, what is expected of me today? What do you want from me today? I have gratitude that I have another day. What's expected of me today? So I
Mm.
start my day that way. Instead of, I really have put social media aside.
Yes.
I don't start by checking emails. I start, and this is a new practice, and again, you can have whatever faith you want, but I take my Bible, I open it, and I think there's my message for today.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
personal.
Yes.
Journaling is a brain dump. I have women that I coach who say, I just don't get to sleep, and I can't sleep at night. My mind is racing and everything else. And I'd say brain dump. Get the thoughts out of your head, get them down on paper. They become concrete then. Um, that's my phone flashing in case you're wondering if it's lightning outside. Um, Also, the journal idea of gratitude. I also am coaching women who are not able to find good things going on right now. There has been a lot of loss for some people.
Hmm.
And so I challenge them to, okay, start your day with one gratitude and end your day with one gratitude.
Hmm.
Just one. And then let your list continue. Just one thing you're grateful for. And you'll begin to see that there is a lot. It's all what you look at is what you focus on is what grows, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Again, if you're feeling depressed, there's nothing shameful about that. If you're feeling really down and can't pull yourself out of it, get some help. There's nothing wrong. In fact, that's admirable to be able
Mhm.
to ask for help when you feel you need it.
Yes.
If you're just wondering if I'm stuck, I just want to get out of this rut, a coach is a great thing, a mentor, a minister, a priest, a rabbi.
Mm.
Um, and then fill your head. This is my last piece, Lana. Fill your head with good, positive. What you put in is what you become. We're doing the man's search for meaning now, finding meaning in life. My next mastermind, and I do these for me, my next mastermind is going to be on As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Mm.
These kind of books that fill you with optimism and hope.
Yes.
So listen to these, just get some really good little earbuds, and just while you're doing everything around the house or going for that walk, put the positive vibrations in. So they're my recommendations for inner strength, because we can't control the outer, but we can definitely control the inner.
Yes, recently I just realized that my movie list, the things I was watching, because I'm like a Netflix junkie. I love movies. Of course, I'm a novelist, so stories are my deal, right?
Right.
But to realize that I was watching movies that stimulated my adrenals
Oh, right.
as a kind of an energy charge,
Right. But
and
that
I
can be
didn't realize
addictive.
it.
Those spurts of adrenaline. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is addictive, definitely. And when I realized I was doing that, I completely wiped out my watch list and I started watching a different type of movie.
Mm.
There's still good movies out there, but they don't all have to be, you know, edge of your seat, chasing cars and
Right.
stuff.
Especially before you want to go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it makes a big difference what you're feeding into your awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And getting all the dire news, you know, every
Oh,
moment.
yeah. And that can be addictive too. It's almost that's an adrenaline, and it's on like a fear or an anger or a,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, what's happening next? What's happening next? And that, no, I mean, you want to know what's going on. You want to hear both sides, but you can't become obsessed with it because
yeah.
that'll just spiral you downward.
I just put it out there that, you know, God's going to give me what I need to see. And
Mm.
I do. I haven't missed anything. I missed out on anything since I think I quit watching the news like 2013. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, but I still know what's going on,
Yeah,
you know.
you're still thriving.
Yeah. Somebody will tell me. I'll see some snippet on YouTube or something. I mean, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you recommend for families who are going through a tough time, you know, right now? How can we get through this better?
And again, if you're a parent listening, if you're a grandparent, maybe just gently suggesting some of these things. That's my recommendation, not to tell someone what to do, but to
Hmm.
gently suggest. Um, I mentioned this before, but family meetings, that is going to be the beginning of learning how to communicate within the family. It will carry out into life, and no matter what their age is. I've coached parents who have teenagers and they just are at their wits' end, and I've suggested the family meetings, and of course there's, oh no, come on, mom, this is stupid. That
Mm.
happened about 2 weeks, and then the third week, are we going to do that meeting thing again? And then it was, come, mom, it's time for our meeting. So it's
Yeah.
almost like, just stick to your gut, stick to what you know is right, not
Mm.
even if it's not the easy thing. So family meetings, and there is an agenda and everything. And Lana, I want to say, if anybody ever wanted to reach out to me with, I'm happy to just give some more detail, because I know we're a little bit limited on time.
Mhm.
Um, Clear boundaries or clear expectations on what family roles are, like chores. Every person in the family has a chore, and they don't get paid for it.
Mm.
They are part of a community of living together, and that's part of their responsibility. They can do extra things if they want to raise money for extra things they want.
Mhm.
Um, Clear limitations and expectations on tech use. I do have a blog article on hyper reality, too much
Mm.
technology. So there is an article, and I did a lot of studies, so I do state some facts. It's not just my opinion. So if you want to go on my website, there's a blog on that.
What's
Um,
your website link?
oh, it's my name, and here it is, helenober.com.
Okay.
I'm all about
I
simplicity.
know.
I don't remember all that stuff. Um, with the younger child, have a feelings chart posted in a prominent place, and be able to teach those words. There's a big difference between sad and disappointed,
Mm.
and angry and jealous. And a child, unless they are equipped with those words, that language, they can't express themselves. So teaching the words, the language, um, having it be a common thing is, how did that make him feel? And it could be good or bad. You just helped your brother. How did that make him feel? Yeah, that's right. That made him feel cared about, didn't it? Or no, that made him sad. Yeah, that did make him sad. So how did that make him feel? Teach empathy. And again, no matter what the age, it's never too late. I mean, what a world this would be if we could all feel for each other,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then I really believe in having a family mission statement. So what do you want your family to be known for? And it's going to take some discussion, and it's going to give them a whole list of possibilities. And then how we act is how we represent our family mission. So there's a few thoughts, and especially since we're together, I know that a lot of families are resorting to letting kids do unlimited technology. And I really encourage you to read my article, and even do some research on your own, on just Google that, what happens when kids spend too much time on their phones or
Mm.
in games.
Mm-hmm. Right, because the tendency is, hey, we're all in here together. Might as well. It doesn't matter anymore. Nowhere to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So yeah, if it's limited, what could they be doing without that?
Yes.
I have a testimonial of a family who did limit. They could not, use technology, but for a certain period of time. So the child, and now this was like a middle school child, took up cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So took up cooking.
Yes.
What else could you do? So have them figure out, well, what am I going to do with my time on a
Yes.
Saturday if I don't have organized sports, or if I don't have my computer games?
Yes, and this is good for adults too, because instead of chilling in front of the TV every night, what could you
Right.
do with your time? It's a
Right.
life skill. It's really a life skill.
See, it's all about your perception of
Mhm.
what you're going to look at now in this stage of our life, right? In this
Yes.
condition. And, could you look back and say, wow, I feel really good about myself because I finally read that book I wanted to do, or I finally painted, you know, that family room, or I finally researched something, or I finally took up that hobby.
Hmm.
It's an opportunity.
Yes.
Now, what can you do now? I also did I hope I'm not promoting myself too much, but as soon as the COVID hit, I did a thing where it was on confidence in a crisis,
Mm.
creating confidence in a crisis. But then after that one came, fix it now or fix it later. So, some things, if you don't take care of now, they're going to come back and bite you later.
Yeah.
Right?
Bigger, worse. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now,
Absolutely.
so we have some time,
Hmm.
possibly, or not. But if there are some things, today is the day to sort of start thinking about,
Yeah.
how can I start those things?
So how do we get more from you?
How do we get more from me?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, my website, helenober.com, I do give away a free PDF there on the 7 warning signs your child is experiencing unhealthy stress.
Mm.
And so you just go there, put in your email, and you can download a free PDF on that.
Okay.
I do have some videos and some scripts and things on there also if you want to take it a step further.
Hmm.
Um, I am doing this mastermind now. If you would like to get together with like-minded women who are looking to go deeper, there's not too many opportunities in our days to go deep, is there,
Mm.
with people? Um, just send me an email. It's my helenober@gmail.com.
Okay.
And when I put my next group together, Man's Search for Meaning, I was blown away. It filled up with 10 people. I don't go over 10 immediately. I do them by Zoom. So I added a second class, and that one's now full.
Mm.
So I just have to be careful of over scheduling myself. So it's going to, but that's another way.
Mm.
Um, so I think through my website or through my email. Lana, thank you.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Helen. You gave us a lot of really practical stuff today, and I was so grateful for that because this is what helps people. This is what really gets down to it.
Well, I want to thank you, Lana, because you're making this possible. You're giving us this resource. You're allowing us to have a place to be able to share, and that I'm grateful for. If I could I leave everybody with just one thought?
Sure.
Okay. Ponder, reflect, meditate on how do you want to look back and say that you wrote this chapter of your life? Because we have choices every day, don't we? So how will you look back and say, that's how I wrote this chapter? So in hindsight. So
Yes.
that might help with making some choices that make you feel better about yourself and feel good and contribute more to the world.
Thank you so much.
No, Lana, thank you. Thank you. And we're going to catch up again off camera. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll hold you to it.
Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
right, Lana, thank you.
Bye. Wasn't that great? That was awesome. I love the practicality of it all because those are steps you can actually do right now with your children, grandchildren, and it'll help us, as we're getting tired a lot of times of, what's going on in the world. We just want to have some relief. And I think Helen really brought some great points out about how to get relief. So a couple of announcements. My ebook on Kindle is Never Date a Narcissist Again. And if you put in my name in the search bar or never date a narcissist again, it'll come up. I think it's $2.99. It's a little 25-page ebook. It has a lot of bullet points. So it's packed with things that you can do if you are attracting these kind of people into your life. And it could be a boss, it could be friends, it could be landlords, or even significant others. You can find out what you're doing and know how to end that cycle. Really powerful stuff. And don't forget to comment and subscribe. I'm here on YouTube, and I am excited about the possibilities of being out there on my own now, away from the networks and so forth, and just winging it. So, hey, subscribe. You'll get a notice. And there's also other things I put up. Like sometimes when I post an article, I'll put that up. And these are all meaty because I do not post fluff. I always have something that's very life enriching material. And then join the Facebook group. NowIt'sMyTurn.com takes you right over to our Facebook group, and a lot of good material over there as well. And you can interact with the speakers. Helen has a box, an image for this episode. And if you go over there, find that image, it's right at the top, put in a comment on Facebook, and Helen will get that. We'll make sure, and she's also in the group. So that is a really good way to interact. Well, today I want to talk about something that we were talking about last week. We finished the new Unstoppable You Summit this week, and wow, was it ever amazing. One of the main points that was in the summit, which I wanted to emphasize here because it's so good, is that we have a mind. And as Helen is a psychologist, I've studied a lot of psychology, although I'm not a psychologist. I've always heard, we have the conscious and the subconscious. Some people call the subconscious the unconscious, but we've always heard about two. And in my process and my study of how my practice works, when I help people with this healing practice, is we actually have five. We have five minds. And I did a session on that, which is over on Facebook now. If you go to the New Unstoppable You group, now that the summit is over, we can have other people coming in. It was a private group for the summit, but now I'm opening it up to other people. So if you go to the New Unstoppable You group, right at the top, there's that seminar on the five minds. But today I want to talk about number 4. Number 4 is very unique. It's something that a lot of people, I would say more than 80% of even practitioners and psychologists and so forth, do not understand, or they don't know about the research that has just come out in the last 3 or 4 years. And I call it the body mind, because this is holographic memory theory. And I talk about this a lot because it's something that people don't know about, but it is valid science tested by instruments. Google it, holographic memory theory. And what it says is that the body stores the memories, the intense emotions that we experience through our life. So your body is like this massive refrigerator. It's containing all your life experiences, positive and negative. They're in your body. And one of the reasons people develop these problems as they age, and signs of aging, is this accumulation of this negativity, all the traumatic events and the terrible griefs and the losses and the angers and the betrayals stuck right in the flesh. And so when we realize that this is happening and we can take steps to dissolve these things, they're like balls of cotton candy stuck in. And when you get a place that is like a favorite receptacle, it becomes like a backpack, like just keep filling it up until you end up with physical problems in that area. You might end up with arthritis, or you might end up with a bunch of other things that is just a result of emotional stress in that area. And this is one reason why people can't really find out why stuff is happening. Well, there's emotional stuff in there. And that's what my practice has shown time and time again. Once this is relieved, then the self-talk, we try to stop the self-talk and stop the negativity. We try to put in positive affirmations and these different things, listening to these different things to try and keep the mind from going back to those patterns, when actually what's happening is there's a ball of memory, painful stuff, signaling to the mind. And as long as this is still here, the mind is going to keep thinking those things. If you go into the root of where it is, dissolve this out, all of a sudden the mind clears and calms down. That's really the root of it. And so I would encourage you to go over to the New Unstoppable You Facebook group and take a look at that seminar. It's posted right at the top of the group. Get the whole thing, the 5 minds. It will change your life. And if you would like to connect with me, reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. Just do a messenger message to me, or you can email me, lana@lanamcara.com. Put a comment down below here on YouTube. There's a lot of ways to connect. If you look in the description box, you'll see a whole lot of other information there. And so connect, because this stuff is so easy, incredibly easy, quick and easy to deal with. We don't have to be miserable. You have more control over how you feel than you might realize. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I'll see you next time. Bye now.